Welcome to the Daily Forex Market Analysis, and this is for preparation for trading on October the 8th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. In terms of the news that came out, not a whole lot today. We had some, excuse me. We had some negative data come out of the Eurozone, but other than that, fairly quiet in terms of the news. Coming up tomorrow, another quiet day here. We do have a couple of MPC members here out of UK. And then we have building permits for Canada, and we have core PPI numbers here for the US. We also have Powell speaking again. We have a couple of FOMC members here essentially. So overall, though, not a ton of news. So a fairly quiet day tomorrow. So let's go on to our charts here. We'll start off with euro dollar here. The euro here, we see price has rejected this level that we had talked about. This is 1.100 level. So we have a nice bearish candle here, nice pin bar. So I am looking for price to drop here actually. So I would look for a bit of a pin bar here. I would look for a bit of a pullback from the pin bar and then looking for a drop. So the bias here is bearish. And we have a bearish pin bar for the day, so looking for price to drop. And the first target would be the bottom of these pins here at 1.0930. And then the second target is 1.0900. So bearish bias here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one is looking bearish as well. We see that price has rejected this previous support resistance level here. We have a nice bearish candle close. So looking for price to drop further, bias is bearish. In terms of pullback here, I would look for a potential pullback into 1.2300 and then looking for a drop here and aiming for the bottom of this pin here. So price has been trading in this range. It has rejected the high here, so looking for it to drop further. 1.2220 is the target for the pound, bearish bias here for pound dollar as well. Aussie dollar here, this one is also looking bearish. We have a nice bearish candle close. So looking for a follow through here. The next target here is 0.6720 and then 0.6680. Bias is bearish for Aussie dollar as well. In terms of the pullback, we could get a pullback into 0.6750 potentially, and then a drop. So looking for a bit of a pullback here, and then a further move to the downside. So bearish bias for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here as well. We have a nice bearish close here after that pin bar on Friday. Now looking for a further drop. First target is 0.6250, and then we're looking at 0.6220. So bearish bias here as well. And I will look for a pullback potentially into this pin here, and then looking for a drop here, bearish bias for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, this one has also dropped today. We see prices come down, but there is a bit of a rejection here because price is into support. So we need to be careful with this one here. Bias is still to the downside, but I would just be careful if price does not break through this 1.3280 level here. This one could turn around. So just be mindful of that. It can go back up like this. But for now, bias is bearish for dollar CAD. Let's take a look at commodities now, starting off with our silver. Silver, we have a bearish candle close, so looking for price to drop further here. Price has been stuck in this range a little bit, so just keep that in mind. And right now, looking for it to come and test this previous support level at 17.25, and then beyond that, 16.90. So bearish bias for silver. Gold as well, a drop in gold. And as we are coming into these trade negotiations with between US and China, we are likely to see equity markets be excited about those. And as a result of that, safe haven assets are likely to decline. Now, should we hear positive comments or positive news out of that, we are likely to see that scenario. If they start to fall apart, so trade negotiations start to fall apart, then the risk assets go down and safe haven assets go up, like Japanese yen, as well as our gold and silver. For now, though, bias is bearish. Next target is 1480 and then 1470 here. So bearish bias for gold as well. Oil is looking weak. Price did go all the way up. It tested the previous support resistance level, large pin to the downside. So now looking for it to drop further. And pullback or potential pullback level here is 53.20, something like that. And then looking for a drop here. So bearish bias for oil. First target is 51.80, and then second target here is 50.80. So bearish bias for oil. Copper is looking bullish actually, so I will look for price to go up further into 2.50 or 2.55, I should say. And only if it gets through that level would I look for the next target, which would be 2.58. But for now, bias is bullish and looking for it to go into 2.55, then 2.58. Bitcoin is still sideways. It's been trading in this range for some time now. So still in the range, it dropped into the bottom, into the support. Now we have a bullish candle, so I will look for price to go towards the high at 8,500. But for now, this is just neutral. I'm looking for price to just go sideways here in the range. So just stay range bound for now. But what I see is that it's holding this range here. So overall, it's still bearish, but it doesn't have the momentum like it did here. But for now, this is neutral. So looking for price to potentially go towards 8,500, but stay sideways here. So not hugely bullish, even with this bullish candle close. All right, equities here. We have a pin bar for S&P 500. This is interesting now. Pin bar suggests that there's rejection, so we could see price drop. So bias is bearish based on that. A potential pullback level would be 2950, and then I will look for price to drop towards 2900. So bias here is bearish for S&P 500, and that's the move I'm looking for. So bearish bias here. NASDAQ, this one is looking neutral. Price went into the support resistance level, and then we have a large pin. So watch out for price to turn around. I would look for price to potentially either test into the high all the way to 77.80 or even into this candle to the left-hand side and then drop here. So bias is neutral. I will look for a little move or move higher and then a drop. As long as it stays below 77.80, I'm looking for it to come back down towards 76.20. DAX here, DAX is looking bullish, but we are into this previous support turning resistance now, something to watch out for. If it doesn't break through 12,120 level, then chances are this could turn around. But once it gets through this level, next target is 12,250. So bullish bias here, but be mindful of the high of the day here. If it doesn't get through, it could turn. So Footsie here, this one is looking bullish as well. Last week here, we had a huge drop. So price is filling in this move now, this inefficient move. So bias here is bullish, but again, just like DAX here, we are into support resistance. And if price does not go or hold above 72.20, we could see it drop towards the low of the day. But should it go through, there's room to the upside. And then I am looking for 72.80 as the next target. But important to keep in mind, because we are into resistance, price may just go into the high. And if it doesn't get through, it is likely to drop. So bias is bullish, but with caution. But see here, this one is looking neutral. We have a completely neutral candle close. So this one could go in either direction. And the way I would look to trade this would be if it stays below the low, then, or today's, I should say, below the high, then I'm looking for it to drop. But if it breaks through, then I'm looking for it to go to the next target, which is 21,800. If it breaks through the support, then I'm looking for it to go to the next support level at 21,200. So at this point, this is completely neutral candle close, indecision candle. So we have to wait for market to show us the market direction. All right, so that's it for now. I will wrap it up here. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.